Well, well, well. So it begins. Here we are. And it's about damn time, to be honest.
Yo, Big C in the house. You know the name. Finn Posse Podcast. Changing the game. Fizz up high. Feel the aqua and orange. Miami Heat blazing. We scorching the floor. Movino the tour. We stacking the saga. Legacy deep, call it football nirvana. Big C, break it down, got the stats in his veins. Play-by-play knowledge like he's calling the chains. Fins flying on the field, opponents feel the blast. Tyreek cheetah speed, leaving DBs in the past. Waddle with the wiggle, defense with the clamp. Aqua drip so clean, whole squash the champ. Tune in, Big C, got the mic on lock. Finn Posse Podcast, it's the cream of the crop. Breaking news, hot takes, repping the block. For the Dolphin faithful, it's the one-stop shop. Finn Posse. We the voice of the fans. Miami stand tall, got the world in our hands. Best podcast, yo, ain't no debate. Big C, big vibes, setting it straight. Defense smash, call it Aqua Tsunami. X locking routes like a South Beach Armani. O-line holding strong, trenches like a fortress. Big C dissected, no stack goes dormant.
What up, Finn fans? Welcome to another episode of the Finn Posse Podcast. I'm your host, Big C. Don't have a lot of time today. Busy schedule going on. But I wanted to stop in and talk to you for a moment. Big news around the NFL. Big news for the Miami Dolphins. We had to have seen this coming, right? The Miami Dolphins have done it. They have finally made a change at the quarterback position after week after week after week after week of Tua Tagovailoa not performing at a level that is satisfactory, to performing at a level that is not worth his contract. The Miami Dolphins finally make a move, and they skip over Zach Wilson, who has been the backup the last few weeks, and we get an opportunity to see Quinn Ewers, the rookie 7th-round pick out of the University of Texas, be the next quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. Quinn Ewers is on deck to start this Sunday against the Cincinnati Bengals, one of the league's worst defenses. So, what to expect? What do we what's the future hold for the Miami Dolphins? First and foremost, I think this is the right move. This is the right move. I think, honestly, probably at this point, even though Tua's been so bad, he probably still gives us the best chance to win, just strictly because he knows the offense so much better than everybody else, every other quarterback on this roster. So this is strictly about the future, what the Miami Dolphins have in the future. If Quinn Ewers can be the quarterback of the future. This is about Mike McDaniel doing anything and everything to keep his job. This was the straw that broke the camel's back. This was the final thing that Mike McDaniel was able to offer up the Stephen Ross, because we know how close of a relationship Tua Tagovailoa and Mike McDaniel have. We know how close they are. So for Mike McDaniel to make this move, Mike McDaniel is feeling he's got that monkey on his back right now. He's feeling the pressure. He knows his time is limited to prove to Stephen Ross that he deserves another year here in Miami. So he's going to put all his eggs in this Quinn Ewers basket and hope that Quinn Ewers can perform at the level that, listen, Quinn Ewers was a 7th round pick, but let's not get it twisted. Just 2 years ago, Quinn Ewers was considered one of the top names in college football, one of the top college prospects in college football. Now his final season at the University of Texas didn't quite go the way that he would have liked, but he was a top prospect. He was on the front of every college magazine, the college football games. He was one of the few faces of the college football. Kind of like Ollie Gordon. Ollie Gordon was one of the top faces 2 years ago in college football, and then he had a down last year at Oklahoma State, and he fell back in the draft, and we were able to get him later on. But those two guys, they were top guys in college football just a couple years ago. So Quinn Ewers, do I think he's going to be this world beater? Do I think he's going to be our version of Patrick Mahomes, or he's going to be the starting quarterback for the next 15 years on the Miami Dolphins? No, I doubt that. I highly doubt it. He's undersized as well, not a big guy. He has limitations also, not to the extent of Tua Tagovailoa, but he still has limitations. He doesn't have the hugest arms, but can make most throws. Not super athletic, but he can move. So, really best case scenario at this point for the Miami Dolphins is that Quinn Ewers ends up being maybe like a Brock Purdy type, a bridge till we have an opportunity to get another quarterback, a quarterback that we can rely on the start next year, because we gotta cut ties with Tua Tagovailoa. We got to cut ties with Tua Tagovailoa. We got to do whatever it takes to make sure he's not the starter here next year. You cannot go backwards. Tua's regressed. I think it's physically a physical problem. I don't think it's a mental one. I think it's physical. I don't think he's going to be able to overcome whatever things have gotten him to this point. If you're a Tua hater, that's fine, but you got to admit that Tua was a better quarterback than what we've seen this year. He's played much, much better in previous years than he has this year. He's been a shell of himself this year. A shell of himself. So, best case scenario, Quinn Ewers can come out and, play decent football, play complementary football, have us in a position to be able to compete if we can bring the right pieces and surround him with the right pieces. And then, like I said, I don't think you go after a quarterback this draft. But if we can keep Quinn Ewers, and Quinn Ewers can be a productive quarterback for us while we eat Tua's huge salary cap, while we hit Tua's huge salary cap number, if we can make it past that with Quinn Ewers, That would be the best possible scenario. Because Quinn Ewers ain't making nothing. He's not making any dollars. He's not making any dollars. Only the real survive says trade number 28, get some picks, and build the holes for your quarterback in the 27 draft. Reek needs to be gone and Chubb. Well, I think Tyreek will be gone. I think Bradley Chubb probably will be gone. As for Jalen, or as for HN, you're not going to get the value for him that you think you're going to get. So I do not trade. If it's me, I'm not trading HN. I'm not trading HN. I'm not giving HN up for a second round pick. No, thank you. I will keep him. He's still very young. He's still super young. I'm not trading him away. Right now, he is the face of this franchise. He's the face of this franchise right now. I would not trade him away. Do not trade the only positive piece to this football team. He's the only positive thing. He's the thing that makes fans happy for the Miami Dolphins. He's the only form of enjoyment we get on Sundays. Joe says this should be a national holiday. Mike has shown he can get production out of the other two backs with good upside too. All I'm saying, listen, I think the running back play, even though Jalen Wright went over 100 yards against the Jets, there was a noticeable difference when Jalen Wright was in there. He got a lot of garbage time numbers. A lot of those runs came way later in the game. I just don't see the sense in it. I don't think it matches the value. What you're going to receive in a trade for is just not worth it to me. I'm hanging on to him. But yeah, the Dolphins, are starting Quinn Ewers week 16 against the Cincinnati Bengals. Can I say this real quick? It's not that I necessarily disagree with some of the things they say, but Chris Sims and Mike Florio are the biggest douchebags I've ever listened to on the radio. These guys are absolute clowns. Absolute ass clowns. Chris Sims is so butthurt that he wasn't a good quarterback in the league, that he was a failure in the league, that he likes to criticize and critique and talk shit and just do real rancid things. And Mike Florio's a clown too. I hate those dudes. I absolutely hate those dudes. Those dudes are absolute clowns. I'm sitting there listening to him talk about Tua's benching, and I agree. I agree why he should be benched. I agree that the Miami Dolphins should bench him. I agree that the Miami Dolphins should move on from him. But they're saying, well, he's not performing like a Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow just laid an egg against the very mediocre, Baltimore Ravens team. Joe Burrow has been hurt more than Tua. Joe Burrow, besides one season where he took the Cincinnati Bengals to the Super Bowl, and yeah, he took them to the Super Bowl. Joe Burrow, what has Joe Burrow really done? He's got two of the top 5 wide receivers in all of football. He had a top 10 running back. I'm tired of the Joe Burrow love. What else did he say today that, sitting there trying to make what's his name? Now I'm having a Brian Flores. Brian Flores was right, and yet they want to let him go. They want to move on from Brian Flores. Maybe Brian Flores was right about Tua Tagovailoa. Maybe he was. But let's not pretend Brian Flores didn't want to bring in Deshaun Watson. Let's not pretend that he didn't want Deshaun Watson to play quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. How would that have went? Because we would have fully guaranteed his contract to bring him here, and he'd be sitting on the injury boat, and we'd still be paying him money. So I don't think this team would have been in any better position. Any better. Like I said, the benching doesn't come as a surprise. McDaniel said Tuesday that He's been contemplating this. The quarterback play just hasn't been good enough. Like I said, this is hard for Mike. This is hard because he's close to Tua. He is close to Tua. This isn't a 1 or 2 week thing with Tua neither. This is a season long thing with Tua. Tua has struggled each and every game this year, except maybe two. The Bills game, he was all right. And what's the other game? Atlanta, he was all right. Other than that, he leads the league in turnovers, interceptions. He's been terrible. Yet he's one of the highest paid players in all of football. This is it's just not good enough. You're not going to be a competitive team. You're not going to be a good team if your highest paid player, one of the highest paid players in all of football, is below standard. He's not even playing okay. He's playing bad. They're not winning with the help of Tua Tagovailoa. They're winning in spite of Tua Tagovailoa. I don't think it should be Zach, me personally. No way. No way. No way. You see what you got in Quinn Ewers. Zach Wilson, he's just not there mentally, brother. Just not there mentally. Listen, Joe, I don't think this is a winter break for Tua Tagovailoa. You know, there's rumors going around that he didn't prepare in the offseason like he should have. He didn't take care of his body. He didn't build his body up. But there's something more going on. You know, I watched in that Pittsburgh Steelers game where he threw a 20-yard pass, and he threw it as hard as he could. The ball floated. You know, he just doesn't have any arm strength. He has no arm strength. None. He's not athletic. He's slow. He doesn't, you know, and that's another thing. Mike Florio and Chris Sims criticizing Tua for protecting his body. Everybody in the world was criticizing Tua for not protecting his body. And this isn't the Captain Save-A-Ho on Tua Tagovailoa, because Tua needs to play harder. He needs to sacrifice sometimes. You got to be a football player. Where he didn't get that first down on that play where I felt it was a personal foul on Patrick Queen, but there's no way you should have not got that first down. Put your head down, get that first down. Be a football player. Matthew Judon was released, yes. And Monday nights was the straw that broke the camel's back. He put up 65 yards passing with an interception and 2 drive-killing sacks through 3 quarters. 65 yards passing, an interception, and 2 drive-killing sacks, where the guy just drops down. He holds on to the ball far too long, just drops down, takes the sack. 2 drive-killing sacks in 3 quarters. Everything else was patchwork numbers. Everything else was, you know, fake numbers. Everything else was fake. Because if you go and you look at the box score, you would be like, oh, Tua didn't have that bad of a game. He had 2 passing touchdowns. He threw for 250 yards. No, he threw for 65 yards through 3 quarters. That's the real Tua. Everything else was in garbage time. You know, the Miami Dolphins went on a nice little streak, winning 4 games straight, but that was heavily relied on the running game. Mike McDaniel took the ball out of Tua's hands, and that's how the Miami Dolphins won games this year. That's what the Miami Dolphins have become, a running football team. Tua leads the NFL with 15 interceptions in 2025. He has a .06 EPA per drop back rank, fourth worst among quarterbacks with at least 300 pass attempts, ahead of only Cam Ward, Geno Smith, and Joe Flacco. His total QBR is also fourth worst among starting qualifying quarterbacks, Ward, Smith, and J.J. McCarthy. We just haven't seen the same Tua that we've seen in 2023, where he led the NFL in passing with 4,624 yards. That quick, decisive Tua Tagovailoa. He's no longer there. He no longer has the ability to sling the ball like that. Now, we've always questioned his arm strength, but on the quick intermediate throws, Tua has always been good at those. He's no longer good at those. He no longer has the arm strength to fit it in the tight windows. He no longer has the ability to do those things. And if he no longer has those abilities, what does he have left for us? If he can no longer do the one thing, the two things that, made him a positive impact on this football team, what's left? What's left? What's next for the Miami Dolphins quarterback future? Again, I don't think we draft a quarterback this year. I think this draft class is not the greatest. We got the 11th pick going into this week. I think the top couple prospects will already be gone. I'm not forcing it. We have a lot of holes to fill on this football team. This is where Quinn Ewers comes in. This is where Quinn Ewers can earn himself a position on this football team next year. Quinn Ewers needs to ball out these last 4 weeks, and we need Quinn Ewers to be the starting quarterback in 2026. While we deal with Tua's salary cap hit, while we try to rebuild this team, hopefully with a new general manager, maybe a new head coach, we need Quinn Ewers to play quarterback for the Miami Dolphins and be efficient. We don't need him to come in and be a superstar. That'd be lovely. That'd be nice. That'd be great. But that's not what we need at this moment. Just don't be a turnover machine. Don't be a reason that the Miami Dolphins lose games. Don't do that. And I think Quinn Ewers got a certain skill set. I think Quinn Ewers has ability. I think Quinn Ewers has the opportunity and the chance to do this. And, let's see what type of, quarterback whisperer Mike McDaniel truly is. Let's see what type of offensive genius Mike McDaniel truly is. Let's see what miracles he can work in the final 4 weeks of the season with a quarterback that's not so physically limited. A quarterback that's able to run for a first down if it's available. A quarterback that can get outside the pocket. A quarterback that can throw the ball over 20 yards. Let's see what Mike McDaniel can do with that. Now, I think Quinn Ewers is going to lack the mental ability of Tua Tagovailoa, obviously. Tua's been in the system for years now. Quinn Ewers is a rookie. He's been in it months. So that's the real downfall of this situation. But everything else is a check mark for Quinn Ewers. Everything else at this point is a check mark. It didn't used to be like that. I would say that, Tua used to be more accurate. Tua used to be a better lots of things I thought Tua probably did better. I can't say that now. I can't give Tua the nod in any certain category besides probably his understanding of the offense, because I just don't see him in the same light as I used to. The Dolphins signed Tua to a 4-year, $212.4 million contract in 2024. Less than 2 years later, he's getting sent to the bench for ineffective play. With 3 years remaining on the contract, Tua is due $56.4 million guaranteed in 2026. And I think the real cap number is like $99 million. Cutting or trading Tua, well, it's not going to come cheap. Releasing him outright would carry a massive $99.2 million dead money hit. Even a post June 1st release would still count $67.4 million against the cap in 2026. A spring trade would be a little less with $45.2 million and dead money hitting the books. But who is trading for an inefficient bench quarterback with a $39 million base salary? I'll tell you, nobody. I'll tell you, nobody. Nobody's trading for that. Thank you, Christian. Good morning. Good afternoon. We've seen teams do it, though. We've seen the Denver Broncos with Russell Wilson. They dealt with $85 million in cap money. So the Miami have an extra $14 million on top of that, including $53 million in 2024. That was the biggest year that they took a hit. The main difference I can say with the Denver Broncos and the Miami Dolphins, though, is when the Denver Broncos did it, yeah, they had a quick turnaround, but they already had their coach in place. They already had a Super Bowl winning coach in Sean Payton in place to help make that move easier on them. The Miami Dolphins don't have that. The Miami Dolphins don't necessarily have their coach of the future. So that's the biggest difference to me. You had the strength of Sean Payton to hold on to while you went through that tough time of dealing with that massive cap hit for the Denver Broncos. The Miami Dolphins don't have that. The Miami Dolphins are already in a salary cap dilemma. I mean, maybe there's probably a better word for it. They're projected to be roughly $11 million over the cap next season. Taking on the dead money from Tua's contract would take gold medal. It would take a gold medal level performance from whatever general manager comes in here to be able to work things around. Miami could take a page from the Falcons. That's another team that has had to deal with a quarterback that has a massive cap hit that, they no longer want. Remember, famously, the Atlanta Falcons signed Kirk Cousins in free agency to a huge deal. And then they go and draft a quarterback in the first round. And then they put Quinn Ewers, or they put him on the bench. They put Kirk on the bench. The Miami Dolphins could go that way, although I don't think that's Tua draws too much attention. He's not Kirk Cousins. He just draws too much attention. If you're going to sit here and have Tua Tagovailoa on the bench all year, I think that's going to be a problem. I really do. I think it's going to cause issues. If you're going to move on from Tua, I think you should just straight move on from him. I don't think it works out like Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, they held on to, used him as an expensive backup and hoped that they could trade him down the road. He hasn't given no team a reason to trade for him. I don't think Tua Tagovailoa will do that neither. So it's a waste. It's a waste in my opinion. What can Quinn Ewers provide down the stretch for the Miami Dolphins? Well, first and foremost, he's getting the nod over Zach Wilson. That's not surprising to me. It's clearly a move to see what the rookie has. There's tape out there of Zach Wilson. There's no tape of Quinn Ewers playing quarterback in the NFL. There's no tape of Quinn Ewers playing NFL quarterback position. So this is an opportunity to see what this guy got. He played a few snaps in the blowout loss to the Cleveland Browns. He was 5 of 8 for 53 yards. Now he'll get a chance to see what he can do with full week of practice and hopefully 4 starts coming up. Quinn Ewers, like I said, at one point was one of the top faces of college football. At the University of Texas, he was a 3-year starter. He threw for 9,128 yards, 68 touchdowns with 24 interceptions in 36 games in Austin. Listen, he's 22 years old. He doesn't have the strongest arm, but he can get the ball out quickly. He's got a quick release. Once he gets a rhythm going, he's really hard to stop. Those quick, fast throws, accurate throws, that should benefit Mike McDaniel's offense greatly. That's the things that Mike McDaniel was doing with Tua Tagovailoa. So if you can squeeze Quinn Ewers in there and get him to do the same things Tua was doing, plus you got the running game with Devon Achane, that'd be huge for this Miami Dolphins team. The one thing that Quinn Ewers needs to show me, he needs to show me that he has an understanding of the offense. He needs to show me that he has an understanding of progression. He can work through his reads. He's not constantly hitting the first read all the time. That he can work through them, work back through them. The Dolphins are officially eliminated from the playoffs, so all things are on the table. Take a chance. Now that Quinn Ewers is going to be the starting quarterback, go and bring Theo Weiss up at wide receiver. These two guys had a great rapport with each other in camp. Go bring Theo Weiss up. See what he can do. He was Quinn Ewers' number 1 target all offseason. And God knows we can use the help at the playmaker position. Because Malik Washington has not been great. Taj Washington, non-existent. Nick Westbrook-Akine, non-existent. Darren Waller's been good when we've used Darren Waller, but we barely use him. Go out there and bring up Theo Weiss to play alongside Quinn Ewers. These guys got a repertoire together. They practice together. He's used to catching Quinn Ewers' ball. They're used to timing. They got the timing down with each other. That's only going to benefit Quinn Ewers that much more. That's going to make them both look great. But yeah, that's it. The Miami Dolphins finally make a move. Is it permanent? Who knows? I don't think anybody knows at this point. If Quinn Ewers comes out and just balls the freak out these final 4 games, that definitely puts Tua's status with the Miami Dolphins very much up in the air. If Quinn Ewers struggles, depending what we do in the draft, depending on free agency, there is a world where Tua is the starting quarterback for the Miami Dolphins next year. I'm hoping that's not the case. So it's wait to see, but this is a very interesting time. Listen, don't be too hard on the kid. Give the kid a chance. He's going to make mistakes. But it's how he deals with those mistakes, how he comes back from those mistakes. Look for the positive things he can do.
And if you're a deep down, a hardcore Tua fan, you got to understand. You got to understand. Nobody wanted this. I mean, some people probably wanted it. Some people probably wanted it. But I'm a Dolphins fan. I don't care who plays quarterback as long as they do it at a high level. You know what I mean? And Tua hasn't done that. And it's very sad to me that I cheered for him. I liked him. You know what I mean? Took a long time to get him to be able to say his name, but now we got it down as fans. And, I feel for the kid. I feel like he went through and suffered some traumatic injuries. He put his life and body on the line for this football team, but it didn't work out, and it's time to move on. I wish him the best. I hope that he can go and, maybe have a future somewhere else in the NFL. I hope he don't win a Super Bowl for somebody else, but I wouldn't be mad if Tua went somewhere and, was a serviceable backup or even started games and, made playoff appearances. As long as it doesn't affect my Miami Dolphins, good luck to him. But for me, the time has came and it's time to move on. And I can't wait to see what Quinn Ewers brings to the table. And hopefully there's brighter and broader roads ahead. Because I'm getting sick of the mediocrity. I'm getting sick of cheering for a team that can't get the job done. And we already got a deal. This could be a very bad year for Dolphins fans. Josh Allen doesn't have the typical suspects ahead of him to be able to knock him out the playoffs. There's a good chance that Josh Allen's going to the Super Bowl. There's a good chance the Buffalo Bills are going to the Super Bowl. We won't hear the end of that. We won't hear the end of that. But it is what it is. I got to go. Thank you for tuning in. Hit that like button. Please, 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 please. Subscribe, comment, share. We're going to talk more about this. Get your quarterback prospects. If Quinn Ewers don't work out, who would you like to see the Dolphins have at quarterback in 2026? We're going to break it down tomorrow. I appreciate you all. I love you all. And I will see you tomorrow morning. Quinn Ewers, new quarterback, Miami Dolphins. Is this the last quarterback change, or we gonna see some Zach Wilson this year? We gonna see more of Tua Tagovailoa? I don't think anybody knows. I think Mike McDaniel's in panic mode right now. Unless this quarterback change was made because Stephen Ross let Mike McDaniel know he's safe. Because like I said, Tua Tagovailoa, I still think, as limited as he is, as bad as he's regressed, I think he probably still gives this Dolphins team the best opportunity to win. So why would someone that is yearning for wins, needs wins to save his job possibly, go in a different direction? Will he go in a different direction if he's been promised leniency, if he's been promised his position? Who knows? Maybe we'll find out sooner rather than later. But it is what it is. Quinn Ewers, quarterback 1. Listen, I wish we could get him out that number 14. I don't like it. Kenny Britt, give him that number 3. Let Quinn Ewers get number 3. He needs to get his college jersey number 3 back. Number 14 is not doing it for me. Kenny Britt, let's sign a petition. Let's get it going. Quinn Ewers needs number 3. Until next time, folks, I love you. I appreciate y'all. And fins up. Peace.
Yo. Big C in the house. You know the name. Finn Posse Podcast. Changing the game. Fins fins up high. Feel the aqua and orange, Miami Heat blazing, we scorching the floor. Moving the tour, we stacking the saga. Legacy deep, call it football nirvana. Big C, break it down, got the stats in his veins. Play-by-play knowledge like he's calling the chains. Fins flying on the field, opponents feel the blast. Tyreek cheetah speed, leaving DBs in the past. Waddle with the wiggle, defense with the clamp. Aqua drip so clean, whole squad's the champ. Tune in, Big C, got the mic on lock. Fin Posse podcast, it's the cream of the crop. Breaking news, hot takes, repping the block. For the Dolphin faithful, it's the one-stop shop. Fin Posse, we the voice of the fans. Miami stand tall, got the world in our hands. Best podcast, yo, ain't no debate. Big C, big vibes, setting it straight. Defense smash, call it Aqua Tsunami. X locking routes like a South Beach Armani. O-line holding strong, trenches like a fortress. Big C dissected, no stack goes dormant.